kids, I'm Miss Kylie.
And I'm Mr. Derek, and we are so happy you decided to join us for Kids Church today. We have been opening up our Bibles and learning about people who have had daring faith. The first week, we learned about Noah, and last week, we learned about David and his willingness to trust God to fight the battle for him.
I love opening up the Bible and reading real stories of real people who had daring faith. But before we jump into another story, let's jump up and worship our Creator together.
It's time to play some music. It's time to make some noise. It's time to dance, clap your hands, don't stand still. Now let me hear you lose your voice. Come on. Listen up. Let's go. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. I'm a child of God, you know it. Hey, I was born for this. It's why I was made. Don't have to be afraid, 'cause I know that I am saved. A child of God, that's who I wanna be. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Hey, listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Now put your hands up high, put them way down low. Move side to side, stop. Let's go. Come on, come on. Let me see you dance. Come on, come on. Listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Hey, listen up, we got a reason why we're singing. Who I wanna be. Take control, feel the music in your soul. Who I wanna be. Put your hands up high and let 'em know. Who I wanna be. I move side to side. Come on, let 'em know. Who I wanna be. Put your hands up high, hands down low, side to side, let 'em know. Who I wanna be. Put your hands up high, hands down low, side to side, let 'em know. Who I wanna be.
Thank you guys for singing with us. You sounded great, as always. So, remember how I told you guys 2 weeks ago that I have always dreamed about being an astronaut? Well, we have been learning so much from Hank and Charlie about what it would be like to be an astronaut.
Have you guys actually been learning a lot? Because I feel like they aren't the best astronauts.
Really? You don't like them? I think they're great and funny, and it's giving me a good glimpse into what it would be like if I were on an actual spaceship. They really are daring and willing to do whatever's needed.
Well, I can honestly say I have not been learning that much from them. But if you guys want to continue to learn from them, I guess we could go check in and see how they're doing. I mean, we didn't leave them at a great spot last time.
Yes, let's go check in with Charlie and Hank and see how they're doing.
just think it's still pretty crazy that we're the first people to orbit the new moon.
I know, I just wish we could see something. It's weird there's not one window in here.
So she's like, I've never been to the Chili's on Crown Valley. I'm like, well, can I take you? She's like, sure. And then, oh, I have a surprise for you.
Surprise.
Yeah, I just remembered. Let's just say I set up a little entertainment for you and I.
Entertainment? You brought our living room to space?
Yes, I did.
I did. When they asked me if there was anything I wanted them to pack on the ship for us, I was like, anything? What do you think?
You brought our living room to space!
That's what I'm talking about, man. Take a seat, relax.
Oh, you brought the Xbox?
Of course I brought the Xbox. I got Madden, Need for Speed.
Oh, did you bring the steering wheel remote?
What? No. You're the only one on Earth that uses that thing.
You know that's not true. Joey Sorelli down the street uses it, and he's the best.
Oh, I'm sorry. Joey Sorelli, the 31-year-old who lives with his mom and collects cats.
Yeah, well, we're 25, and we live with our grandma.
Okay, good point. Let's just set it up.
Henry! Jerry! Boys!
So, Mr. Derek, did you learn anything more about being an astronaut today?
Well, I'm seeing that I could potentially get stuck in space, and that does not seem like it would be super enjoyable. But hey, if I could bring my own living room, maybe it would be a little cozier.
Glad to hear you are still considering a career as an astronaut, but can we get back to learning about daring faith?
Of course. I'm so excited for this story today. I have something that I want to show you. Oh, goodness. This is called the Ark of the Covenant, and this has a huge part in our story today.
Wow, I am so excited because this is beautiful, and I'm excited to see what this has to do with our Bible story. Let's grab our Bibles and turn to Joshua 3 and listen really carefully and see what the Ark of the Covenant did.
There once was a man named Joshua who loved God with his whole heart. The day came when Joshua needed to have courageous faith and cross the Jordan River when it was rushing with so much water that there was no way anyone could walk through it. God told Joshua to have the priests carry the Ark of the Covenant and stand in the river. God said that as soon as a priest set foot in the river, the water would stop flowing and dry ground would appear. And so, Joshua, the priests, and the Israelites did as God asked. As soon as the priests reached the river and their feet touched the water's edge, the water stopped flowing. Then the Israelites crossed the dry riverbed to the town of Jericho, just as God had planned.
Joshua had to have such courageous faith to trust that God was going to get them across the Jordan River. I think if I would look down at that river, I would be skeptical that God was going to be able to lead us through. But this is the second story that we have heard of God parting the waters and allowing his people to walk through. Do you all remember what the other story was?
Yes, God parted the Red Sea for Moses and the Israelites to walk through. That is one of my favorite stories to read about in the Bible. It just shows us how powerful our God is. And this story also shows that. Do you remember what the priests had to carry with them? Yes, they had to carry the Ark of the Covenant. It might have looked something like the one we saw earlier.
Joshua and the Israelites had to take a small step before God performed a huge miracle. They had to enter the river before he separated the water and cleared the way. This would take an incredible amount of faith and trust. It really took daring faith. Let's go check in with Pastor Steve and see what else we can learn about this story.
Hi guys, well let me give you a little backstory on what you just watched. You see, the Israelites had come out of Egypt. They used to be slaves in Egypt, and they had been out of Egypt for a long time, walking around the desert, waiting for God to give them instructions and directions on which way to go. And Moses, who was leading the Israelites, had died. And a new leader is now leading them. His name is Joshua. And God told Joshua, Joshua, it's now time to go into the promised land. You've walked around long enough. Now take the Israelites and go into the promised land. And it was a bunch of people. It wasn't just a few hundreds or a few thousand. It was a ton of people. So the Israelites got up, pulled up their camp, and started walking in the direction that Joshua was leading them according to God's direction. And they came to a river. Now this wasn't just a small river. It was a pretty big river, and it was rushing really hard. It was that time of the season where there's a lot of water. And they stood there wondering how in the world they were going to get across this. There was no bridge, so they didn't know what they were going to do. And God told them to step out into faith. Now, it would make sense to me if they went to the water and they waited for God just to make the water stop, and then they went across. Okay, that'd be cool, but God didn't say that. God said, step out into the water. So the priests had to literally step into the water. And as each time they stepped into the water would stop, it would stop, it would stop, it would stop, until it finally all receded back. And then the Israelites were able to walk across dry ground onto the other side of the river. You and I, we can have daring faith just like Joshua, by following God and imagining what it would be like when God answers that prayer, imagining what it will be like when God does that something that you're believing Him for. And that's daring faith.
What Joshua and the Israelites went through, God used to stretch their faith by providing more than they expected. God wants to do big things in our lives too. But in order to see those things, we need to take small steps of faith along the way. With every small step that the priests took, the water would recede. But they had to trust God to do this as they continued to take small steps of faith.
We might not be walking across a rushing river, but we do have to take small steps of faith each day. God uses these small steps we take to help grow us. Sometimes we might be scared to take those steps of faith, but just like Joshua let go of his fear and trusted that God was in control, we can too.
Through faith, Joshua stretched his imagination and believed in God's plan. He let go of his doubt and chose to believe and stepped out in faith. In the same way, we can have courageous faith and know that God's plan will stretch our faith. Like Joshua, we can imagine that God has a wonderful plan for us. We can let go of our fears and doubts and choose to have courageous faith.
Here are your discussion questions for this week. If you want, you can pause the video right now and take some time to talk through these questions with your parents or another family member. If not, don't worry. We'll put them up again at the end of the video so you can use them later. And now, let's sing another song together.
In a world of darkness, you are my light. I will not fear, you're by my side. And I'm running, I'm breaking through the night. By the power of your might, the power of your might. Give me life everlasting. You make me new. Jesus Christ, never ending. All because of you, I am unstoppable. Whoa, oh, oh. I am unstoppable. Whoa, oh, oh. I'm tearing down these walls that hold me back. Can't stop me now, can't keep me down. Don't count me out. 'Cause I'm running, running, breaking through the night. By the power of your might, the power of your might. You give me life everlasting. You make me new. Jesus Christ, never ending. All because I'm a child of God, standing strong on the solid rock. Yeah, I got power inside from the Most High, and I'm gonna light this world up, cause I'm on fire. Ignite, see me breaking chains in His name, unstoppable. No matter the obstacle, nothing is impossible. Never gonna quit, never gonna stop moving. Yeah, I'm gonna win, no way I'm losing. No way I'm losing, I'm unstoppable. You give me life everlasting. You make me new. Jesus Christ, never ending. All because of you. I am strong, I am brave. I'm not alone, I'm not afraid. Because of you, I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable.
I am just amazed at how awesome and powerful our God is. He was able to part the waters so they could walk through on dry land. Our God is greater than we could ever imagine.
That really is so true. Let's practice daring faith this week by being courageous and giving our fear and doubts to God and trusting that He has a better plan for us.
We are so happy you decided to join us for Kids Church today. We hope you have the best week and can't wait to see you again next week to learn more about daring faith together. Bye!